And welcome to the video. My name's Emma and we're going to be looking today at the legal requirements in relation to theory. So first of all, driving and the law, getting started. The first thing you need to do is apply for your licence. You can apply for the licence age 15 years and 9 months old. Now there's two different ways you can apply for your licence, either online or via the post, and they do cost different. So if you're applying online, it will cost you £34, and to apply by post, it's going to cost £43. Now regardless of which way you apply, you do need to be able to prove your identity. So if you're applying online, an identity document will be required unless you have a valid UK biometric passport. You'll need proof of your addresses where you've lived over the last 3 years and your national insurance number if you've already got it. If you're applying by post, again you'll need an identity document unless you've got that UK biometric passport and a colour passport style photo. Once you've got your licence, there will become a point when you can start driving. Now you must be at least 17 years of age before you can start driving, and there is an exception to that, and that's those people who are applied for or already in receipt of enhanced rate of the mobility component of personal independence payment, or PIP, in which case you can learn to drive from the age of 16. You must not, however, drive until you have your provisional licence, that it's actually arrived and that you've been able to check all of your documents are correct. And it's very important that your provisional licence is valid for the category in which you intend to drive. So if you're looking at driving a car, it's category B. When the time comes for you to be able to learn to drive, the vehicle that you're driving must have L plates on. These L plates must be displayed at all times that the learner is driving the vehicle and be clearly visible to other vehicles from both in front and behind the vehicle. They must also conform to the legal specifications, which is a red L on a white background and be of the correct size. When the vehicle is not being driven by a learner, with the exception of driving tuition vehicles, the L plate should be removed or covered. Now when you are driving as a learner, you do also need to have an accompanying driver. The accompanying driver must be aged 21 years or older and hold a current full licence for the type of vehicle that you're driving, and that must include whether it's a manual or an automatic licence or vehicle, and they must have had that for 3 years. It's also worth remembering that whilst being an accompanying driver, you follow the same rules as if you are a driver, so therefore you shouldn't be using any mobile devices, and it's really important that accompanying driver is aware of exactly what the learner is doing at all times. Before you begin to drive, it's important that you check your eyesight is correct. In order to do this, you must be able to read a car number plate made after the 1st of September 2001 from 20 metres. So there's two different styles of number plate. The old style plates, as shown there, are pre-September 2001, and they're identified by 1 letter, 3 numbers and 3 letters. The new style number plates, as shown there in the top corner, they are slightly different in relation to the size, but also the way that they're laid out is different, and that's 2 letters, 2 numbers and 3 letters. If you need glasses or contact lenses in order to meet the requirements of being able to read that number plate from 20 metres, you must make sure you're wearing them every time that you drive. You must also inform the DVLA if you have any problems with your eyesight that affect both of your eyes, or if you only have one eye, it affects the remaining eye. It's worth noticing this doesn't include being short or long-sighted, or if you're colourblind. At all times, it's the licence holder's responsibility for informing the DVLA, Driver and Vehicle Standards Agency, of any changes. These changes could be change of address, change of name, or change in health that affects your driving. You must report any medical conditions that might affect your ability to drive safely. You must also report if your health deteriorates and you become unfit to drive. And there's a long list of notifiable illnesses available on the government website. Now, it's always worth checking. If you're not sure, check on that list to make sure you know whether or not your health issue is listed or not. You can be fined up to £1,000 if you do not tell the DVLA about a medical condition that affects your driving. You may also be prosecuted if you're involved in an accident as a direct result. There's some very clear information in the Highway Code, Rules 95 and 96, in relation to both drink and drugs. Put simply, do not drink and drive, as it will seriously affect your judgment and abilities. England and Wales have different limits to Scotland, as you can see there in the table. However, if you are caught and penalties are given, they apply throughout the whole of the UK, regardless of which category you were given the points under. Alcohol will and can give you a false sense of confidence. It can reduce your coordination and slow down reactions, affect judgment of speed, distances, and risk-taking. Also reduce your driving ability, even if you are below the legal limit. Take the time to allow the alcohol to leave your body. You may be unfit to drive in the evening after drinking at lunchtime, or in the morning after drinking the previous evening. The way alcohol affects you depends upon your weight, age, sex, and metabolism, the rate at which your body uses energies. The type and amount of alcohol you're drinking, what you've eaten recently, and your stress levels at the time can also play a role. The best solution is not to drink and drive at all when planning to drive, because any amount of alcohol affects your ability to drive safely. If you are planning to drink, arrange another means of transport home. You must not drive under the influence of drugs or medicine. For medicines, check with your doctor or pharmacist, and do not drive if you're advised that they may be impaired in terms of your driving ability. You must not drive if you have illegal substances or drugs or certain medicines in your blood above specified limits. It's highly dangerous, so never take illegal drugs that you intend then to continue to drive. The effects are unpredictable, but can also be more severe than alcohol and result in a fatal or serious road crash. The accumulation of penalty points acts as a warning to drivers and motorcyclists that they risk disqualification if further offences are committed. Really highlights to them the unsafe motoring practices. For every offence which carries penalty points, the court has a discretionary power to order the licence holder to be disqualified. This could be for any length of time that the court sees fit. However, it's usually between a week and a few months. Endorsements must stay on your driving record for anywhere for 4 or 11 years, depending upon the offence. The minimal penalty for speeding is a £100 fine and 3 penalty points added to your licence. You can be banned or disqualified from driving if you are either convicted of a driving offence that the court sees fit to then disqualify you, or you gain 12 or more penalty points within a 3-year period. There are many offences where penalties will be issued, and drink driving is one of those. There are 4 different categories of offence, all with varying penalties. Being in charge of a vehicle while above the legal or unfit through drink can give you 3 months imprisonment, up to £2,500 fine and a possible driving ban. Driving or attempting to drive while above the legal limit or unfit through drink could give you 6 months imprisonment, an unlimited fine, and a driving ban that lasts for a year or 3 years if you've been convicted twice within 10-year periods. Refusing to provide a specimen of breath, blood or urine for analysis, and these are the 3 ways that they can identify, 6 months imprisonment, an unlimited fine, and a ban for driving for at least a year. And then the 4th and the most serious offence, causing death by careless driving when under the influence of drink. 14 years imprisonment, an unlimited fine, a ban from driving for at least 2 years, and an extended test before your licence is returned. And the link there, the government website, will link you towards not just these driving penalties, but also towards, these drink driving penalties, but also towards other penalties. Now, as already stated, you can be banned or have your licence revoked if you're convicted of a driving offence, or you get 12 or more penalty points within 3 years. As a new driver, so anybody who has passed their test, and within a 2-year period from this, your licence can be cancelled or revoked if you get 2 or more points within the 2 years of passing your test. Points on your provisional licence already that have not expired will be carried over onto your full licence when you then pass your test. Your licence will then only be cancelled if you gain further penalty points that take you to a total of 6 or more within the 2 years of passing your driving test. You'll then have to apply and pay for a new provisional licence and pass both the theory and practical parts of the driving test again in order to gain your full licence. If for some reason you haven't already submitted your provisional licence when you passed your test, and you do come to a point where you're having your licence revoked or cancelled, you can continue to use your original provisional licence in order to learn to drive again. If you have already sent off your provisional and you're in receipt of a full licence, then you need to reapply. We're now going to look at the vehicle documentation. All vehicles on the road must have the relevant documentation to be legal. These include a current MOT certificate if the vehicle is over 3 years old, and this must be renewed every 12 months. The MOT is an annual test of the vehicle's safety, roadworthiness aspects and exhaust emissions required in the UK for vehicles over 3 years old on roads or other public places as stated in the Road Traffic Act. Vehicles must not be driven on the road if they do not have a valid MOT certificate. However, there are some exceptions. If you're on your way to a pre-booked appointment at an MOT centre, driving to a garage for a pre-booked appointment for repair work to be carried out for the MOT, or a vehicle that's over 40 years old, however, it must be in a roadworthy condition. The vehicle must also have a valid certificate of insurance. This document will show who's insured to drive the vehicle that's covered, the period of cover, what the vehicle can and cannot be used for, and if there is cover to drive other vehicles. Now there's 3 different types of insurance cover that's available. Third party only, this is the legal minimum. This covers other people and property that may be injured or damaged, but does not cover the damage to the vehicle or yourself. The second, third party fire and theft, as third party, but also covers should the insured vehicle be stolen or damaged by fire. And the third type of insurance is fully comprehensive. As well as covering other people and property, this insurance also covers damage to the insured vehicle. It is if a police officer should ask to see proof of valid insurance, you must be able to produce this at the time or at a police station within a specified time, and that time is usually 7 days. There's also vehicle excise duty or road tax. Now it's the responsibility of the registered keeper to make sure that the vehicle is taxed, that tax is paid for. The amount of tax that's paid will depend upon the age of the car and the engine emissions and can be paid either monthly or annually. When you buy a car, it's your responsibility then to ensure that that vehicle has been taxed. And it's not possible to tax a car unless the vehicle has a valid MOT and also valid insurance. And the final document is a registered keeper document, or a V5C. All vehicles should have an up-to-date V5C, or logbook as they're also known. This document contains information about the registered keeper and the vehicle, such as name and address of the vehicle's registered keeper, information about the vehicle, including the make, model, colour and engine size, the date the vehicle was first registered. The registered keeper is not necessarily the owner, however, of the vehicle. However, it is the responsibility of the registered keeper to ensure that the vehicle is taxed. Thank you for watching. Please feel free to drop a like, comment or subscribe below, and have a look at the YouTube channel for other videos that could help you with both your theory and learning to drive.